Alright, so hopping right into it. First up is a New Jersey state quarter from 1999. Now this coin has a clip error. You can see that there, very noticeable error there on the side of the coin. Now this quarter here sold for over $70 on eBay as is. The coin has not been graded. So for a coin that has been graded, here is a 1999 Philadelphia minted Connecticut state quarter. So it is missing the reverse clad layer. You see the clad layer here on the front, and then here on the back you got that copper color because that's the inner color of the quarter, so it's missing the outer clad layer. So this coin here sold for over $430. That's right, over a $400 quarter. Moving on to a, well, I don't know if you want to call this a quarter, but it is. It's a 1999 Delaware state quarter that has been multi-struck on a piece of feeder finger. So it looks like, you know, a piece of scrap metal, pretty much garbage. However, you can see the design of the Delaware state quarter there and Washington here on this side. Very unique and awesome error. I don't know how anything actually like this gets out of the US Mint. So it's very interesting. This coin, if you would like it to call it a coin, sold for over $1,000. That's right, over 1,000 bucks. Now moving on to a 1999 Philadelphia minted state quarter here. Now this one here has a die cap and it's been double struck with a brockage. So very noticeable error. Probably maybe not going to fit in a quarter coin roll. It is pretty big there, as you can see, with the double strike taking place. So wow, this coin here sold for over $1,200, $1,200. Here's another Delaware state quarter. Now this coin here has got a high grade of a mint state 64, and it was also struck 10% off center, which we can see here on the side of the coin. So that's very noticeable. Some of the off centers won't be as much. Some of them might be only 5% off center. Some may be, you know, really off center, you know, 40 or 50, 60% off center. There's all kinds of different off centers. So this coin here sold for over $100. Moving on to another Delaware state quarter that was struck. Here we go, 65% off center. So we can see the difference in the percentage here. You can still see the Delaware design, which is cool. And this quarter here sold for over $195. So nearly a $200 quarter. Now for this Delaware state quarter, this coin here has been struck 20% off center and it's on scrap. So 53% scrap there is what it indicates here on the coin slab graded by PCGS. Now this coin here sold for over $400. Now next up, a lot of people get these coins confused. Now this is a Delaware state quarter that has been struck on an experimental planchet. So very cool error and very valuable error coin. So this coin sold for over $4,800, so nearly a $5,000 quarter. A lot of people get these confused with gold-plated coins, gold-plated quarters that companies release. So make sure you don't mistake it for a gold-plated quarter if you do happen to come across one. Alright, next up is a 1999 state quarter. Now this is the Georgia state quarter. And you can see here on the reverse that we have a capped die taking place. So that's pretty noticeable as well. And then of course here you see that, you know, on the obverse you don't really see the design of Washington's head. So very, like I said, very, very noticeable error. This coin here sold for over $1,600, $1,600. Next up is a die adjustment strike taking place on a Delaware state quarter. So you see how the design is all worn down. However, that is actually a die adjustment strike taking place. And because of that error, this coin is sold for over $150. Moving on to a New Jersey state quarter from 1999. Now this coin here is interesting. You can see here at the top, it looks like it's been almost struck off center. And then you can see that here on the front of the coin as well. And it has actually been struck on a nickel. So it's been struck on a 5-cent blank planchet. And it only weighs 5 grams. So that's pretty cool. This coin here sold for over $1,600. Moving on to a 1999 Philadelphia minted error quarter. Now this one has been multi-struck with a die cap, so you can see on the reverse you can't really make out the design of the coin because of that die cap taking place. And then you see, you know, the error really strongly here on the obverse of the coin. Man, this is really cool. I would love to have something like this in my collection. Really awesome looking coin. Now this quarter here sold for over $790, nearly an $800 quarter. Next up is a Connecticut state quarter. Now this quarter sold on eBay as is. It has not been graded. You can see that it's got an obverse brockage taking place. Very, very noticeable. And then we see here on the reverse that the design is reversed. It's backwards because of the error taking place. So very awesome. No obverse design as a result of the error. So no Washington on this quarter. Now this coin is really valuable, especially not being graded. This quarter sold for over $3,000. So very, very awesome coin. Always be on the lookout for different types of errors like this on all your coins. Moving on to another Connecticut state quarter. Very obvious looking error here, and it's because the coin has been double struck and the second strike is 30% off center. So we can see the double strike. You see both designs here on the reverse and on the obverse of the coin. So this coin here sold for nearly $1,000, over $975 to be exact. So always be on the lookout for those as well. Next up is going to be a 1999 New Jersey state quarter that was struck on a 5-cent planchet, so on a nickel planchet. Now this quarter here, because of that error, sold for over $745. 745 bucks. If we move on to the Pennsylvania state quarter from 1999, you can see that this one also has been double struck, and the second strike is 35% off center. So this coin here, because of that, sold for over $600 US. 600 bucks. Next up, now this is a pair of mated coins here. So this is pretty cool. As you can see here in this image, you can see how they attach, which is really, really unique and awesome. I absolutely love these quarters. Now these error quarters here sold together for over $2,000. That's right, $2,000. Now for the Georgia state quarter, now this one here, you can look for this on a lot of different coins. It is a rotated reverse. So when you flip over the quarter, you should see a straight design just like this reverse design is. Now when you flip this quarter over, the Washington design is rotated. So that will give the coin a little bit of value. So the Washington design should be facing straight up and down, like the reverse, but it's not. It's rotated, and this quarter here sold for over $200. Such a simple error to look for on your coins. Next up is a 1999 Connecticut state quarter. Now this one here was struck 3 times, so it's been triple struck, and because of that error, this state quarter sold for over $575. Don't forget to always be on the lookout for the spinning horse error. It's a die crack taking place, which you can see coming from the horse's mouth here on the Delaware state quarter. So always be on the lookout for that. And we've talked about that in previous videos. Now for the 1999 state quarters, you can see that they made a significant amount of these coins, made hundreds and hundreds of millions for each coin, for each mint mark. So they're not going to be valuable in terms of just finding a state quarter, but you really want to look for these errors that we just mentioned for them to have any value. And of course the really, really high grades, especially if you got a perfect grade, mint state 70, some of those might sell for a little bit of money also. Alright guys, don't forget to subscribe in the middle, check out the videos to the left of me, and until tomorrow, I will see you all in the comment section below. This is Couch Collectibles, and this is where I disappear.